Hello again, Art 2 students. This project is going to be learning how to fade and shade a color, creating a value scale with paint. So we're going to practice this. What you want to do is use this page here, or the page that I attached to the assignment, to set up your sketchbook page so that you're ready to paint with me. So the last video we did was learning how to paint secondary colors. So I've still got my paint palette in here from that time, and it still works, so we'll still use it. And I didn't even put new paint in there yet. Alright, so we're going to add a little bit of black and white to our palette today. You do not need to fill up your pan very high, because that would just waste paint. So just a little bit of paint. You can always add more paint, but it's hard to take it away. Alright, so the first one here, we're going to go blue, and then we're going to make it lighter, and then we're going to make it darker. So we're going to start and just paint blue in the center. And I'll bring it over here a little bit so that I can mix. And then I'm going to take just a little bit of white on my brush, and I'm going to start lighting this up so that I can get a lighter value here from my blue. You'll play around with this a little bit until you get it just the way you want it. Acrylic paint dries pretty fast, so you're going to want to work with it pretty fast doing this blending in here. But you're just going to add some blue and some white until you get a nice fade. So you can see it goes blue to light blue to an even lighter blue. So that's what we're looking for. Alright, we're going to wash out our brush. I'm going to put some blue down here again in the middle. And then bring it over here a little bit more to have a mixing. And then I'm going to take just a tiny bit of black, not very much, and I'm going to start here on the edge, and I'm going to pull the black and the blue together so that I can have a nice shade. When I wash off your brush, I want to add just a tiny bit more blue here, just to pull them together a little bit more so that I have a nice fade. So that is what we're looking for right there. We've taken our blue, we've added a little white, and we've taken our blue, we've added a little black. We're going to do the same thing with the red. By the way, when you add white to a color, it's called a tint. When you add black to a color, it's called a shade. So that's what we're doing today. Alright, so I'll go over here to where my red is, and I'll put some red down. Put a nice amount here in the middle, because we want that to show as red. I'll bring a little bit over here to mix with. I'll wash out my brush, dry it off, and then I'll put my white over here, and then I'll start pulling it together. You want to pull it together so that it creates a nice fade here. I'm going to wash off my brush and add just a little bit more red, just a tiny bit. Tiny bit of red just here to mix. Doesn't take much, you're just pulling the colors together. So I can see my red, my light red, and my lighter red. So wash off my brush again, dry it off. Make sure you dry your brush off each time, guys, otherwise it will get full of water. So I'm going to put some red down here again, pull some red over here a little bit more to mix with. Wash my brush out, dry it off. I'm going to take a little bit of black, start on the edge here where the black's going to be, and then I'm going to start pulling it into the red. Pulling it together to mix. I'm going to wash off my brush again. Right now, you know, it's not a very smooth transition, so I need to mix this together a little bit more, make that transition smoother so that you can't see where they mix. It just, you want it to just look like magic. And I'm going to work with a tiny bit more, so I'm going to get red and then just put my red down here just to smooth it out even more. So there we go with that one. I did want to do one secondary color, so you know you had to mix the green. So remember how we made our green? We take our yellow, take a little bit of the blue, pull them together, mix them up really good. So I'm going to start with the green in the middle. Pull it over here some to mix with. Wash my brush out. Dry it off. Get some white. And start pulling these together. And actually that blended pretty good. I don't think I need to go over it again. So now I'm going to wash my brush off, dry it off, put a little bit more green down here to work with. Remember, acrylic paint dries really fast. If it dries too fast or you're working too slow, you're not going to be able to pull these colors together. Dry it off. Now I'm going to get my black. Pull it in and then just start dragging these two colors together. And get my green a little again so that I can pull these together even more. And then I have done the value scale with the green. So when you're finished, you should have something that looks like this. We've got the blue tinted and shaded, we've got the red tinted and shaded, we've got the green tinted and shaded, and we want this to look as very smooth as possible. Alright guys, when you're finished this one, make sure you take a picture of it and submit it to me.